Good morning, students. This is for secondary literature students. It is in continuation with the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we have been discussing Ode to the West Wind by Shelley. We had done 12 lines of this poem. Today I'll be starting from the line 13. Wild spirit which are moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver here, oh here. These are the last lines of the opening stanza of Shelley's Ode to the West Wind. The poet calls the west wind wild spirit. He describes its effect on the trees and land. The west wind drives before it the decaying leaves of the trees. It also carries the winged seeds to places where they are protected during bitter winter. These seeds sprout into flowers of various colors when the spring comes. The west wind is therefore depicted in its double role of a destroyer and preserver. This is very important. It destroys that which is decaying and is no longer useful. The west wind appeals to Shelley's tempestuous temperament, especially in its wild aspect. Now you focus on these two things: destroyer and preserver. Destroyer of last year's leaves and preserver of seeds. It is like Shiva, destroyer; Vishnu, preserver; and Brahma, creator. So he is calling. Sometimes it is asked why it is called both as a west wind as a destroyer and preserver. It's because it destroys dry leaves of the last year and preserves the seeds for the coming year. So it is both the destroyer and preserver, and then it leads to creation also. The poet appeals to the tameless. It cannot easily be controlled. The poet appeals to the tameless west wind which is moving everywhere in autumn and discharging the dual functions of a destroyer of old leaves and a preserver of seeds. He implores it to listen to what he has to say. Now I'll be taking the second section of the poem. Thou on whose stream, mid the steep sky's commotion, loose clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed, shook from the tangled boughs of heaven and ocean. Now, thou on whose stream, the wind is compared to a flowing stream on whose swift current the scattered clouds are floating and are being carried away like dead leaves. Shook means to shake. Stream is a current, a flow of water. Steep skies commotion, it is the violent atmosphere. It is the violent atmospheric disturbances as the wind sweeps up the sky. Tangled boughs are the interlocked branches of sky, sea, heaven, ocean, the sky, and the sea are regarded as trees of which the clouds are detached leaves. So this simply, is a bit difficult to grasp. Now, he compares the branches of sky, sea, and as trees of which the clouds are detached leaves, means leaves which have been detached from the trees. He compares clouds to those detached leaves. Now, so he says the poet sees west wind as the symbol of force and power. The poet praises it for its destructive and creative power. It has twofold influence on the earth. It is destroyer as well as a preserver. These lines, describe the great disturbance caused by the west wind when it blows through the sky. The clouds are the leaves of two mighty trees. And what are these trees? The ocean and the sky. And the west wind is a stream that sweeps away these leaves. These clouds get scattered over the blue surface of the sky and spread all over it from the extreme boundary of the horizon to the highest point in the sky. They are the messengers of rain and lightning and are the locks of the approaching storm. They look like the hair uplifted from the head of some frenzied Maenad, the female worshipper of Bacchus, gold of wine. Now, tangled boughs of heaven and ocean, these clouds are fancifully compared to the detached leaves of two trees, namely heaven or the sky, as the clouds float in the upper air, and the ocean, because clouds are formed by the condensation of water vapors rising from the sea due to heat of the sun in the sky and are often seen floating over it. So, angels of rain and lightning, these are spread on the blue surface of thine airy surge like the bright hair uplifted from the head. Airy surge is the up and down movement like that of a wave of the air. Fierce Maenad, it means a frenzied nymph who attend Bacchus, gold of wine, in Greek mythology. And blue surface is the cloudless atmosphere that appears blue. And fierce Maenad, as I told you, is frenzied female worshipper of wine god who moved about in great intoxication with flaming torches and flowing locks of hair. The locks of the approaching storm, thou dirge of the dying year, to which this closing night, will be the dome of a vast sepulchre vaulted with all thy congregated might. Congregated might is the collected vapor and clouds indicating the power of the wind. Sepulchre is the burial place. Vaulted is the roof, the dome being made of. Dirge is the funeral song. Zenith is the highest point in the sky. The dim verge of the horizon means the indistinctly, means not clear, clearly visible border of the horizon. Verge is the brink, kinara. So, the clouds get scattered over the blue surface of the sky and spread all over it from the extreme boundary of the horizon to the highest point in the sky. And these clouds are the messengers of rain and lightning, and are and these clouds with approaching storm, they look like the hair uplifted from the head of some frenzied nymph like Maenad, the female worshipper of Bacchus, god of wine. So, the stanza is full of similes and metaphors. The angels of rain and lightning are the clouds which when they spread on the surface of the sky, they look like the as if and with the and also the storm that come with the lightning, It looks like as if the bright hair of some frenzied, nymph has been uplifted from her head. And from sky to the sea, you can see all over the signs of the approaching storm. Thou dirge of the dying year, to which this closing night will be the dome of a vast sepulchre, vaulted with all thy congregated might. So he says that the poet imagines the whistling sound of the west wind to be the dirge or the funeral song of the dying year. The whistling sound of the west wind appears to be the song of the dying year, that it is announcing the end of the year. The autumn is supposed to be the end of the year, and then the new year begins with the spring. So the year is dying. The west wind is the funeral song over the death of the year. A huge tomb will also be erected over the dead year. The darkness of the night, which is spreading over the earth, will serve as the dome of the tomb. The dense mass of the clouds will form the ceiling of the vast grave. From the dense clouds in the sky forming this ceiling, there will fall rain, lightning, and hails upon the earth. In the end, the poet appeals to the west wind to hear his prayer. So, the lock of the approaching storm are the long, wavy strands of clouds. They are here called the flowing, wavy hair of the coming tempest. Stop Ford Brook calls it the locks of the typhoon. Congregated night of vapors, the mighty mass of vapors collected by the west wind. So we have done second section of the poem. In the next lecture I will be taking the third section of the poem. Thank you.